Okay, good afternoon. Cheers, Le'el Nishmas. Elimelech ben Levi Yitzchak. Osher Shmuel Chaim ben Ephraim Vitzion, Esther Basara, Osher ben Yosef, Tzvi ben Chaim Pesach, Yitzchak ben Sora, Dvora bas Yitzchak, Fred ben Richard, William and Helen, Rochel bas Yosef, David ben Avraham, Avram ben Mordechai David, Reuben ben Shmuel, Chana Golda bas Yisrael, Chaim ben Fega, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Zalman Leib ben Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, Leila Nishmatam. Today's shir is early Shabbat. I mentioned Elimelech ben Levi Yitzchak. Okay, moving on up. And Rachel bas Yosef, David ben Avraham, William and Helen, Leila Nishmatam, and Tzvi ben Chaim Pesach, of course. Yeah. Read Ben Isidore, Leila Nishmata. You can say it. Go ahead. Leila Nishmato. Early Shabbat, must a wife follow her husband to make an early Shabbat? So it's an issue that comes up all the time, right? The husband wants to make an early Shabbos and the wife is still vacuuming, buddy. Right? Is that the Seder? Right? So let's see what the sources say. Moshe, you have a paper? Thanks to Yehuda Lev is giving out the papers. Look at the early Shabbat. Must a wife follow her husband, right? Can the woman wear the pants and do what she wants, or is she obligated to follow what? Hubby. Right? So let's take a look at source number one. Number one. Avram, you have it? Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim. The whole business with early Shabbos. Where's it come from? What's it about? Source number one. Ira, you have it? Shulchan Aruch, source number one. Afa pi shelo yispalu akol adayin. You live in a town, you're a shul, they didn't daven yet Friday night. Im kodam hayochid, if an individual went, v'yitzpalel Shabbat mibod yom, the shul didn't daven yet. His kehillah didn't daven yet, because they have a regular Shabbos. The yochid went, and he davened Shabbos mibod yom, he made an early minyan on his own. Chal olav kabbalah Shabbos, you hear this? Even though the shul, the town, make a regular Shabbos, and he davened b'yechidus individually, and he accepted Shabbos early, and nobody else did. Chal olav kabbalat Shabbat. So as far as he's concerned, Reb Beinish, he's what? Osa b'siyas malacha. He cannot do any work, even though it's really not Shabbos, and the congregation didn't daven yet. Even if he says he davened Kabbalah Shabbos at 6 o'clock. Nobody else did. Even though he says, with my davening Kabbalah Shabbat, I don't want to accept Shabbos, too bad. If you davened, even b'yechidut, l'chun aranena l'Hashem. I won't give up my day job, don't worry. You're stuck? Can we hold the questions? Yes, quickie? A quickie. Well, he did it. Source number one says if he davened a yochid by himself, he is stuck, even though the Kahal didn't, and even though he says, with my davening, I don't want to accept Shabbos, for him it's Shabbos. Next halacha, source number one, next halacha, Chava imrov hakol kibalem Shabbos. Let's say the majority of the kahal in the town, or the majority of the people in the shul, they accepted Shabbos, even though it's really not Shabbos. Hamiut nimshachem achreim al karcham. You hear this? You have a community, Rivka, right? You have a shul. The majority of the shul makes early Shabbos. You're part of that community, or that shul. And you said, I don't want to make an early Shabbos. I'll daven later myself. Hamiut, Arya, Hamiut nimshachim. What does that mean? The minority gets pulled after them. Yeah. Hamiut, source number one. Second source, Hamiut nimshachim achreim al karcham. Against their will. Al karcham means against their will. So if you have a kehillah, you have a town, the majority of people in the kehillah in the town make an early Shabbos, and you say, I have time, I still have to vacuum the floors, and I'll daven later myself. No, the miyut goes after the majority, even against their will, it's Shabbos. Next halacha. Source number 1, Yehuda, next halacha. Adam Shabbat Le'ir b'Shabbat, Erev Shabbat. A person came to a town Friday afternoon. V'kvar kiblu anshe Ya'ir aleim Shabbat. He came to a town, it's really not Shabbos, but everybody in the town made an early Shabbos. For them, it's already what? Shabbos. Afa pi shadayin hayom gadol. Even though the day is long. They had made Shabbos at 6 o'clock. Shabbos doesn't come in until 7:20. Afa pi shadayin hayom gadol. Even though the day is still what? Long. Im hoya olav moed oshim chayfetz. He's carrying money. Because it's really not Shabbos yet. Manicha lipol, he has to what? Throw it down. Yiddish? Strange. He comes to a town, an Erev Shabbos, and the people made an early Shabbos in the town. It's still not Shabbos. So he is pulled after them so much so that if he's carrying money or anything, he has to hide it. Bury it in the bushes, and hopefully he'll be there, what? Saturday night. The beavers don't get it. Okay. Source number 2. Im b'yom hamunan, a cloudy Friday afternoon, very cloudy. And in those days, you didn't have any clocks. How did you know what time it was? The sun. Source number 2, Im b'yom hamunan, a cloudy Friday day. The congregation made a mistake, and it looked very dark. And they thought it's Friday night already. You hear this? Sounds like a Chelam town, right? The Chelam town, the clock stopped, right? So they lit candles, even though it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's very dark. Wow. So everybody in the town all lit Friday night candles. Yitzpalu tfilat arvit, and they davened what? Kabbalah Shabbos and davened Ma'ariv, because it looks dark, a cloudy day. V'achakach, and after they lit candles and davened Shabbos Ma'ariv, v'achakach nispazru avim, then all of a sudden what? The clouds moved away. V'zor chachama, Abraham. It's a miracle, Evelyn. They lit candles, right? They had the gefilte fish. And all of a sudden the clouds what? Went away, and the sun came back. What happens now? Sounds like a Twilight Zone. Ein tzorich lachzor l'spaler arvit. They don't have to go back and daven Ma'ariv again. Why not? Ein tzorich lachzor l'spaler arvit. You don't have to daven Ma'ariv again. Im kespalalu hoyim plaga mincha l'mala. If they davened what? The plaga mincha. They davened 6 o'clock. Right? So then they don't have to daven again. They're yoytze, it's Shabbos for them, right? That's a congregation. That's a congregation. If they daven mincha, miplaga mincha, which is 6 o'clock, and then the sun comes out, because the sun shines until almost 8 today, they don't have to daven again. It's Shabbos for them, even though they made a boo-boo, it's Shabbos, and they don't have to daven Ma'ariv again. What? If it plaga mincha. Yeah. Right.
But what if it was noontime?
No, then noontime, then it's nothing. Then you have to play it again, Sam. We're talking if it's plaga mincha v'lamala, then they don't have to daven again. That's a congregation. V'im yochid sheto, let's say an individual had a cloudy day on Friday and he made this mistake. An individual tzorich lachzor v'letpalat firat arba. The congregation doesn't have to repeat. But an individual who made a mistake, he would have to what? Daven Ma'ariv again. What about doing malacha? V'le'inyan asiyas malacha bein tzibur bein yachid mitorim. What about doing malacha? You accepted Shabbos early mistake because it's cloudy. Then the sun came back. So whether your congregation, whether individual, you're permitted to do malacha even though you daven Ma'ariv Shabbos. Why is that, Ira? The Kabbalat Shabbos b'tout. So even though you don't have to repeat Ma'ariv, because you daven in plaga mincha, You're allowed to do work once the clouds blow away and the sun comes out, because you Kabbalat Shabbat B'Tot. Avram, what does that mean? You accepted Shabbos by mistake. So therefore, what? You can go back to do work. Listen to this. You ate the gefilte fish. You lit the candles already. Now the sun comes back. You can do work. Strange. That's what it says here. The Kabbalat Shabbat B'Tot. V'yesh Omrim, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. V'yesh Omrim, she'otam shedliku nerot, those women that lit candles by mistake, because it was a cloudy day, and then the sun came out. Those women that lit candles, even by mistake, and now the sun is back, they cannot do any work. V'shar anshe habayis mitorin. But the rest of the people in the house, I'm really mixed up. Is it Shabbos or ain't it? I'm mixed up. But that's what it says here, L'chama. So the women that lit the candles, even by mistake, and the sun came back, they can't do malacha. But Sharan Shebai, but the rest of the family members, they're permitted to what? To do work, because it's really not Shabbos yet. The Yeshaim Rim, and others say, She'oto ner shud l'geshem Shabbos. That candle that the lady lit by mistake, l'shem Shabbos, because she thought it's dark, and then the sun came back. Also, ligabo, you can't touch it, you can't add any oil to it. Yes? You can't touch that, because what? For her, it's Shabbos. It's a done deal. Next case, source number 2, the second paragraph. Yes?
Is there an explanation?
We're going to stay tuned. We'll get to it.
Men not and the women yes.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned, okay? Number 2, second paragraph. Misha shol etzpala mincha be'eret Shabbos at shekibla kol Shabbos. Source number 2, second paragraph. Someone waited to daven mincha and erev Shabbos until the congregation accepted Shabbos. He waited. He delayed. He didn't daven mincha with the rest of the people who davened what? 6 o'clock. And there's no other minyan in town. And he's waiting for 7:20, right? Lo yitpalel mincha ba'osa be'knesset. He shouldn't daven mincha privately in that shul. If that shul took an early Shabbos and daven mincha erev Shabbos early, so he cannot daven himself later in that shul. Eliyela chutz la'oto be'knesset. He should go outside of the shul, v'yispalel tefillah shel chol. And he should daven what? A weekday Shmoneh Esrei, because for him it's still what? Weekday. That's only Shaloi Kibel Shabbos. If he didn't accept Shabbos with them, so he should daven a weekday Shmoneh Esrei, but he should go outside of the shul, because Al Tifrosh Minat Tzibur. You know what that means? Don't separate yourself from the Tzibur. It's a Mishnah Avod. Al Tifrosh Minat Tzibur. Avolim Ona V'Kibel Shabbos Imohem. But if what? He answered and he accepted Shabbos with them early. He can no longer daven a weekday mincha, because for him it's what? It's Shabbos. Yitpalel arvit shtayim. You should daven 2 Shmoneh Esreis ma'ariv. He can't daven a weekday, even though it's not Shabbos yet. But since the congregation and him accepted, and he forgot to daven mincha, he can no longer daven a weekday mincha, because what? For him, it's what?
Rabbi,
it's Shabbat.
That same Mishnah says that if you miss davening, congregation, then davening at home, you should go to the Beit Knesset and daven alone.
Right, but this is a case where the Kahal accepted early Shabbos and you didn't. Then you should not daven in that shul. You should daven outside, because Al Tifrosh Binat Tzibur. Yes.
One of them said if the Kahal gets to Kabel Shabbat early,
right.
You have to accept it al korchan.
Right.
So how does that how do you explain this as against that?
So he came from a different shul, let's say. He came from a different kehillah. He came from a different kehillah, and he wants to join them now. Right?
It says if they already accepted Shabbat, he is forced to accept.
But let's say he came from a different kehillah. Okay? So let's go on. source number 2, third paragraph. Im bo lebet hakneset, samuch lekabbalas hatzibur Shabbat. He comes to shul close to the time when the congregation is what? Accepting Shabbos early. Matchil litpalel mincha. He should begin to daven mincha. Afa pi sheba'odo mitzpalel yikablu hatzibur Shabbat. Ein bachach klum. Hoy v'hitzcha beheter. Strange. Seems to be contradicting Rivka what he said before. You're coming to shul when the congregation is about to accept what? Early Shabbos. You didn't daven mincha yet. So you can daven mincha even though they already accepted Shabbos, because you began beheter. You began before they took Shabbos. So it depends when you enter the shul. Okay, but let's go through the source, then we'll ask. Source number 3. See source number 3? Yesh amrim, shemi shekibel olav Shabbat kodem shachashecha. Some say, you took an early Shabbos. You took an early Shabbos. And the next shul didn't daven yet. Can you be their Shabbos goy? You don't have to call Donald Trump.
Yes.
Source number 3, Evelyn. Yes, Sharmim. Shemi shekibel olav Shabbat koidem shachashecha. A person davening with the first minyan at 6 o'clock, it's not dark yet. So for him, it's what? It's Shabbos. Mutar loymel Yisrael chaveiroi. He could tell his fellow Jew who davens with a different minyan 7:20, lasos loy malacha. Well, I already accepted Shabbos, so I cannot do malacha. You didn't accept Shabbos yet. Can you turn on the lights for me? Yankel Shmerel, you could be my Shabbos goy. So the halach is mutar loymel Yisrael. He can tell his friend who didn't daven yet, because it's not 7:20 yet, and he forgot to turn on the lights or whatever, he can tell his friend to what? Do malacha for him. Haga umutar lehenois ma'ota malacha v'Shabbos. So even though for you it's Shabbos, you're allowed to tell a fellow Jew who didn't accept Shabbos yet, as long as it's not really Shabbos yet, right? Yeah. Do malacha, and you can have a no from that malacha. Yiddish? The kol came in Motzei Shabbos. Mishem achas pal Motzei Shabbat. The other case, a guy is davening Ma'ariv Motzei Shabbos very late. The Anshim Nova, they daven Ma'ariv at midnight, Motzei Shabbos, or 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, they daven Motzei Shabbos midnight. You have it? Mishem achar l'tpal Motzei Shabbos. A guy is davening Ma'ariv very late Motzei Shabbos. Shabbos is out already. There ain't 3 stars, there are 3,000 stars already. And he didn't daven yet. Mamshich Sedosei Laila. The Hasidim, they have a Shalashudas Tish, Moshe, that goes on till midnight, Motzei Shabbos. So for you, it's still what? Shabbos. You didn't daven yet. You didn't make Havdalah. It's midnight, but you still have a Suda Shlishis by the Rebbe. Mutta loymel lechaveiro. You're allowed to tell your friend, Yisrael, shekvar hitpalel v'havdil. You're allowed to tell your friend who made Havdalah already, lasos loy malachtoi, to what? Do work. Shabbos is really over. But not for me, because I'm sitting at the Rebbe's Tish. So you're allowed to tell your friend who made Havdalah to do malacha for you, to be your Shabbos goy. Lahadlik loy nerot, to light candles for him. Lavashalain, to cook for him. It's Saturday night at 11 o'clock. You're still sitting at the Suda Shlishit there. You can tell your friend who davened already, can you turn on lights and cook for me? Umutel lahanois lecha, you're allowed to have a no from that work. You hear this? Very interesting. Very interesting, right? So now let's get to the R Shaila and then we'll talk. Moshe, footnote number 5. Moshe, number 5, you have it? What? Let's go to number 5, okay? Let's go to number 5. This comes up all the time. I want to make an early Shabbos, and my wife said, no, she's not ready yet. So can she march to her own drum? Or does she have to follow me? Stay tuned. Source number 5, Sonia. This is Igros Moshe, the great Moshe Feinstein, Zechat Tzaddik Livracha. Source number 5. You have it? Hine keshabal kibul olav Shabbos and bod yom. The husband davened with the first minyan. He accepted Shabbos at 6 o'clock. It's really not Shabbos till 7:30, right? Ima isha nami nesna malacha. The husband's accepting Shabbos early. Does that make the wife also prohibited to do malacha?
Did she light the candle?
What? Does she have to light the candles? Yeah. Or can she wait till 7:30 even though her husband comes home at 6:30? Is she bound by him or not? L'chayra pashut she'eino negreres achrav says it's simple, Moshe, that she does not have to follow hubby. She does not have to follow hubby, right? Why? Source number 5. Why not? Woman's lib. The kamo she'eino yochol lechayva b'nedarim shenoda afi migam. Just like a husband cannot obligate his wife in a neder, you can make a neder for yourself, but you cannot make a neder to ask your wife to do anything. Doesn't work. Af ba'ama b'peirush. Even if he says to her, sweetheart, I'm making an early Shabbos, and I'm saying that it's usher for you to do malacha also from 6 o'clock. Even if he says meferish, that she's also usher and she obligated to keep an early Shabbos, it doesn't matter what he says. Kemo kain eino yochol, I think it's underlined. Kemo kain eino yochol l'asher b'malacha. He cannot usher her, even if he tells her it's Shabbos. B'din toises Shabbos. So for him, it's Shabbos. But he cannot obligate his wife in Toises Shabbos.
Unless she wants to.
I'm talking when she doesn't want to. Hello, if she wants to, I can go home now. We're talking Zisla when she doesn't want to. All right? 1 second. 1 second. Kamo kain eina yochel osay. He cannot ask her from do malacha. Bedin Toises Shabbos, because it's really not Shabbos. It's Toises Shabbos. Loirak b'stama, not only stam, ela af im beferush, shahu mekabel Shabbat, even if he says verbally, I am mekabel Shabbos at 6 o'clock for you, and for me and for my better half. Gam le'esar es ishtoi, einoi klum. Forget about it. Great, but Moshe Feinstein. Right? That's why the chassan breaks the glass under the chuppah. The last time he get a chance to put his foot down. Right? So Avram. So even he says meferish that my accepting early Shabbos asers my better half, says the great Moshe, Ira, einoi klum. He's blowing hot air. Yiddish? She's not obligated to accept Shabbos. Question is why. We'll get to it. After Kabbalah Shabbat, it's not a neder. He can't obligate his wife with vows. The Toisa Shabbat, the Raisa, even though Toisa Shabbat is the Raisa, taking Shabbos early, certain Rishonim say that taking Shabbos early is what? Golda, is Minat Torah. Is Minat Torah. Taking Shabbos early, Tosfot Shabbat, is a mitzvah Minat Torah, min deraisa. Again, who didn't Tosfot, ain't lo shir. But taking Shabbos early, even a minute. No one says you have to take an hour and a half. There's a din Tosfot Shabbat that you have to usher in Shabbos early. But early could be 2 minutes. Doesn't have to be an hour and a half. Right? Shein zeli shir elam acha plaga mincha. Meishi kibbal olav Shabbat. Right? So what's he saying, the great rabbi? Even though he accepted Shabbos and he said, my Bible, you have to follow me, she doesn't have to listen. Yay. Yeah. He cannot obligate his wife with his Toisas Shabbos. Different folk, different strokes for different folks. What? Can he tell her Can she do malacha? Yes. Certainly. Certainly. It's not Shabbos for her.
He's not allowed to, he shouldn't.
Well,
give another Jew.
It's not Shabbos for her. It's not Shabbos. You can tell a Jew to do a malacha for you. It's not Shabbos yet. It's not Shabbos yet.
Rabbi, what happens if it's early?
What?
She light candles and say,
The same thing. She lights candles early. She accepts upon himself. And the hubby can wait till 7:30. Each one cannot obligate the other. Now, the famous case over here, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein accepted rebuke from an old lady in his apartment building because she was shocked. She lit candles, and she looked out the window on FDR Drive. The Gadol Hador is stepping into a car, Rabbi Yaakov. She lit candles. She almost had a heart attack. Lori's right. So, old lady in the building, he could have said, "You're going to question me." This great rabbi sat down Motzei Shabbos, and he wrote a whole tshuva for her.
Wow.
He wrote down a whole tshuva for her, immortalizing. Is it Marasayan? And what's going on? So he wrote a whole tshuva for this great lady. You could look it up in Orech Chaim Chelik Aleph Siman Tzadik Vav. You don't have it on your paper. I'll read it to you. Bidvar Nesiya La'anoshim Bekar, where the person can ride in a car after the wife lit candles. The Beis HaMedrash, right? Yes, Shnei Minuten. You still have Shnei Minuten, he says. Shnei Minuten. 2 minutes. 2-minute warning. Im yesh bezech shash marasayin. You hear the great tzaddik writes? Now, she lit candles, but in New York you have 18 minutes. In Jerusalem you have close to a half hour. So does the lighting candles obligate? The wife accepted Shabbos, but talk about a regular Shabbos, 7:30. There's still, in Jerusalem, all over the world, there's 18, 20 minutes. Jerusalem, there's a half hour. So does the wife...
40 minutes.
Say a half hour, okay? A half hour in Jerusalem. I want to cut it close. Jerusalem, you have a half hour. The rest of the world, you have 20 minutes, right? So is the wife obligated... Is the husband obligated to what? Is it Shabbos? Right? So he says over here, is it Shabbos, right? He says, now even though there's no problem of Marasayan, and he can explain why it's no problem of Marasayan, since it's upsetting to you, Mirtz Hashem b'li neder, lo yesa'od mishas hadlokas haneros bekar. Moshe. B'li neder, it's upsetting, b'li neder, I'm not going to ride the bekar after you light your candles, even though there's not a problem. We have 18, 20 minutes in New York, right? And it's not a problem with Marasayan. Now he explains why it's not a problem. What does Marasayan mean? Morris T. Ayin. Remember him? It looks bad. She lit candles and the rabbi's riding in a car. There's no problem of Marasayan, but I'm not going to do it anyway because it's upsetting to you. How come it's not a problem of Marasayan? Why? Marasayan, he says here, Bedova Shanasa Barova Pa'amim Ba'ofen Isser. Marasayan is a certain act that people normally do, which is forbidden, and you do it mutar, but the act looks like it's osir. That's Marasayan. That's Marasayan. An act that sometimes is osir. Now it's mutar. Don't do it because it looks like it's osir. But to do something which is totally permitted. You're allowed to ride in the car. You still have 18 minutes after the lady lights the candles. Even if people make a mistake and they think that once you lit the candles, it's Shabbos. It's really not. It's not Shayach Marasayan. It's not Shayach Marasayan. Again, last says Dover Hete Mefursam. You're doing an act that's completely permitted. It's completely permitted to ride in the car 18 minutes after you lit the candles. The lady thinks that I'm being Mechaleh Shabbos. That's not Marasayin, because I'm not. That's never forbidden. But since it's upsetting to her, Bli Neder, he says, I'm not going to ride the car.
Does he give the old lady's name? I think I know.
Do you think that? She's immortalized. One second. Now, he says, people know, the great rabbi writes to her, this lady, people know that Noshim Mekablot Shabbat Alokas Hanerov, everybody knows that women accept Shabbos early when they light candles, and men accept Shabbos later, because they have 18 minutes. Right? Kizman Hadlokas Haneros Kavu Be'esre Minuten Koydem Shkia. Because in New York, you light your candles 20 minuten before Shkia. It's 20 minuten, right? Jerusalem, it's more, okay? Im Kain, Duva Mefursam, Dava Mefursam Lakol. Everybody knows, even women know, that what? That they take Shabbos early, and they know that men are permitted to do Malacha Koroif L'Yut Ches Minitten. Another 18 minutes Afrikat Chila, right? So everybody knows that it's not Osir, right? Because you still have 18 to 20 minutes. So something which is completely permissible, and there's never a shash that it's Osir, it's not Shayach what? Marasayin, right? And even though some women make a mistake, Moshe, some women make a mistake and they think that when you light candles, it's Shabbos even for men, right? But that's a mistaken assumption, and therefore it's not Osir Mishim Marasayin. Because the truth is that a lot of women do know the truth, that they light candles early and the men still have 18 to 20 minutes. And it's not really Shabbos. But since it's upsetting to you, Avram, this great tzaddik, you're questioning me, lady, take a pill and lie down. But since it's upsetting to you, I'm not going to do this anymore, he says, because chas v'sholom kilkul, some women and you and others think that it's a zilzul for Shabbos, to be riding in the car after Adlokas Haneros. He says again, B'li neder, ere b'li neder, sheloi lisaod bekar. I will not travel B'li neder in the car after the Adlokas Haneros. You hear this great tzaddik? Wow. So, yes. So when a woman lights candles, for her it's what? It's Shabbos. Hubby didn't accept Shabbos yet. See, Shabbos is a time capsule, Ray. Shabbos is the fifth dimension. It's always there. The question is, Evelyn, when do I choose to step in? Shabbos always exists. Why? It's a parallel world. It's a taste of Olam Haba. The question is, Nechama, when do I choose to step in? You stepped in, I didn't. So when a lady lights the candles, she steps in. Hubby didn't step in yet. Hubby didn't step in yet until he Kabbalah Shabbos. Now, a lady lights the candles of Nochum, and she wants to take a taxi to the hotel. No good. Except, says Reb Moshe, if she lights the candles and she says verbally, I'm lighting candles, but, there's a big but there. If she says verbally, I'm lighting candles, but I do not accept Shabbos because I want to take a taxi to the hotel, then she can. If she doesn't say anything, she's stuck. She's stuck. Hubby can take a taxi.
She has to say the word.
She has to say verbally. Very good, Ira. I'm lighting candles, but I'm not accepting Shabbos because I want to take a taxi to the hotel. So the great Rav says she can take a taxi. If she doesn't say anything, Ray, it's too late now. It's too late. But She makes the bracha, lahadlik ner Shabbos. But before once she makes the bracha, it's too late. Before she makes the bracha, she clears her throat. Says, I'm about to light the candles, but I'm not accepting Shabbos, which normally is accepted by the candles, because I want to take a taxi to the kotel. Then it's not Shabbos for her. She has in Jerusalem close to a half hour. Rabbi Yaakov says close to 40 minutes, but I'm not cutting it that close, Rabbi Yaakov. Let's say half hour. But if she doesn't say anything, Ira, Chanoch, then she's stuck. Hubby is not stuck because he's not bound by her candle lighting. Right?
She's still going to have to walk back.
Yeah.
She'll have to walk back. Wow. Yes? Go ahead, Shirley. Shh. What? I don't hear you.
One is not permitted to open the door. The door has to be open. You just go sit in the car or the taxi.
I understand. Back up what? Back up what? The lady who lit candles cannot step into the car unless before she lit the candles, she made a verbal declaration. Again, if she didn't make the verbal declaration, she cannot go in the car.
So she's saying she can't open the door.
She can't do anything if she didn't make a verbal declaration. If she made a verbal declaration, she can take a taxi. She can drive. Because she made a declaration, she still has a half hour in Jerusalem. In New York, she has 18 Minuten. 20 Minuten. 20 Minuten she has. Moshe, right? Hubby doesn't have to say anything because he is not accepting Shabbos with what? With her lighting the candles. He's not. Right? Now, the great Rav has something incredible here. Moshe, you remember Ratner's on the Lower East Side, Avram Berkowitz's? Ratner's on the Lower East Side. They're open on Shabbos. They used to be open on Shabbos. Are you allowed to eat there? Huh? During the week. So the great Rav Moshe Feinstein says, "Bedover emuta lecho berestaurant, berestaurant shemachnisim sham rak macholei chalav." Ratner's. He doesn't mention Ratner's, but he's talking about Ratner's. A dairy restaurant that only has dairy. Avlaheim anoshim mechaleh Shabbat. Ratner's was open on Shabbos, but they only have chalavi. Hine afsham efshelios kama ma'acholos hasoros kedogin tameim. Now it's possible that since they're open on Shabbos, maybe they bring non-kosher fish in. You hear what he's saying? And maybe non-kosher cheese, and there's a problem with bishul akum. L'chein afli kodesh l'sham le'echol devorim hayeduim she'ein b'hem shim chashash iser yesh lisam marasayin. So therefore, to go into Ratner's, even though you're only going to order what? Strictly dairy, strictly dairy, no fish at all. But since they're open on Shabbos, and perhaps they also use non-kosher fish, even though you're eating on a plastic plate, only chalavi, cheese blintzes, right? Yes, la'asor b'nei maras ayin. You can't go to Ratner's, because Maras Ayin, they're open on Shabbos, Bishul Akum, Bishul Shabbos, and even though you're only ordering cheese blintzes on a plastic plate, there's a problem of what? Of Maras Ayin, because people know that the place is open what?
They became so much.
I'm talking in my days. They became, thanks to this tshuva, they became Shomer Shabbos.
Wow. Because you know what they told me?
Yeah.
That your generation ate, your children's generation won't eat.
They became very frum. Okay? Now listen to this, Rabbi Yaakov. This is Igros Moshe Arechaim Chelik Bet Siman Mem. So he said you shouldn't go to Ratner's because it's Maras Ayin. They're open on Shabbos, even though you're only ordering dairy. Maybe they have fish that's not kosher. People accused of eating non-kosher fish. Maybe it's Bishul Akum, so you shouldn't go there, Marasayin. Moshe, im hoya rav biyoter. Let's say he's very hungry. Shemitztayer tuva. He's in a lot of pain, he's very hungry. Ve'ein sham mokoim acher lechol. And there's no other place to eat. Yochel likones l'sham. He can go into this dairy restaurant, of course not on Shabbos. On Wednesday, they're open on Shabbos. Yochel likones l'sham. Lechol devar meidum mutarim. To eat only things that he knows are mutar, are strictly what? Chalabi things, right? But he should do it what, Moshe? On the QT, put on a black raincoat, pull the hat down. Why? But Maris Ayin is also a filowat bechad bechadorim, Reb Nachum.
You take it to go.
Maris Ayin is also bechad bechadorim. So why, if you're very hungry and you're starving, go in quietly and order only halavi that you know that has no kosher fish, not fish that's not kosher, but do it b'tzina. The mokaim tsara loy gazu rabbanon. Even though marasayin is osir, what? Even b'tzina, what does that mean? Privately. But mokaim tsara, what does that mean? You're in pain. You're very hungry. Loy gazu rabbanon. The rabbis were not goyza marasayin, but mokaim tsar. And if you're very hungry, that's a tsar. You can go in there, but go in on the QT. Okay? On the skies. You know what he says here? Pretty amazing. The great, maybe because of this tshuva, Ratners became what? Shomer Shabbos. They became Shomer. Remember Ratners?
Is there a year that was written?
I don't know what year it was.
Because everybody ate there. Everybody.
Don't say everybody.
Don't say.
But the great rabbi gives a heter. Rivka.
All said they're very hungry.
Achim Rav Biyoter. The great rabbi says, if you're very hungry, Shemitztayer Tuva. What does that mean? Rivka. Mitztayer Tuva. I also ate there. I was very hungry, Rivka. I was very hungry. How hungry were you? Very hungry. Right? Yochel likonesh l'sham, to eat only kosher blintzes and the onion rolls, but do it b'tzina. Do it b'tzina. The mokaim tzara. In a place of tsar, like gozer rabbanon, the rabbis were not gozer. So you're looking more in Ksubis, Marasayin is only what? The rabbanan. But there's a problem. There's a posuk in Midbar 32, where the Torah says, "Yitem nikiyim Hashem im Yisrael." You shall be innocent in the eyes of God and also the eyes of Israel. Midbar 32. So Moshe, it seems to be that Marasayin is what? Minatonah. God says it's not enough to be clean in the eyes of God. It's not enough that God knows that you're innocent. But Midbar 32 says your fellow Jew has to know you're innocent. Therefore what? So it seems to be Minatonah. Right? So how come we say it's only the Rabbanan? So he asked this question. The Torah Tamima asked this question. There's a pasuk in Mirror 32, be clean in the eyes of God and the eyes of Israel. So it seems to be that people shouldn't accuse you. Is it what? Is a Torah violation. And yet we know it's only what? A rabbinic violation. And therefore, rabbinic violation, if you're very hungry, you can do it. So how come it's not a Torah violation? So this is what he asked the Torah Tamim asked that. We know when the rabbis ask Marasayin and Fil Bechad Bechadorim, it's also right. So the Rosh writes that it's not an Issa D'Oraisa, it's only the Rabbanon. It's only a Rabbanon, because this pasuk Moshe was speaking to Bnei Gad and Bnei Ruvain. Remember, Bnei Gad, they wanted to stay Be'ever HaYarden. They wanted to remain on the east bank, right? So Moshe said you should be innocent in the eyes of Israel also. They shouldn't accuse you of being what? Shirkers. What's the word? Shirkers? Shirkers, right? So therefore, Torah T'vimah says, Moshe was just speaking what? To the Bnei Gad and Bnei Ruvain, right? Your brothers are going to go to war, and you're going to remain behind? How dare you? So, technically, this pasuk is only speaking to the Bnei Gad and Bnei Ruvain. The rabbis leaned on this pasuk to make Maris Ayin an Isser, the Rabbanan, but it's not Min Torah, it's only the Rabbanan, and therefore what? If you're very hungry, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein says you can go in there and eat just what? Cheese blintzes. Or maybe the onion rolls, what? Or they had delicious mushroom barley soup.
Not as good as Sonia's.
Not as good as Sonia's, no, not as good as Sonia's, right? Not as good as Sonia's, right? And the Talmud tells the story over here. The Talmud brings the story in Tractate Yuma. In Tractate Yuma, now there was a certain Kohanic family, they knew the secret how to make the Ktoret. The Beis Haftinas, the Gemara in Yuma tells the story, very difficult, the 11 herbs and spices. Before KFC, the Colonel, he looked like a Mashgiach. The Colonel, long white beard, Colonel Sanders. 11 herbs and spices. The Ketoret, Shirley, was 11 herbs and spices. The Talmud says you lived in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, you didn't have to buy Chanel number 5. The entire city, Avram, was permeated with the delicious smell of the incense. No lady needed Chanel number 6 either. Not even Charlie. Remember Charlie? Chanel number... Musk. So the Beis Haftinas, the family that was responsible for making this Ketoret, this incense, never happened that a girl who got married from that family, the Kala never perfumed herself. You hear? So people shouldn't say that what? That she's using the Ktores for what? Her personal beauty. So the Kalas who got married from the Beis Haftinas, they never went to their wedding oiskeputz with, how do you say oiskeputz? Oiskeputz. All what? With the oiskespritzt, right? So people shouldn't say, you know why she smells so good? She took the Ktores from the Beis Hamikdash, right? So look how careful you have to be that people should not, what? Accuse you of doing something wrong, right? So there's a pasuk in Mishlei, Umotzachein v'seichel tov bein Elohim v'adam. Umotzachein v'seichel, you should find grace in the eyes of God and in the eyes of the human being. It's not enough that God knows you're innocent. Your fellow Jew should not accuse you of doing something wrong, right? So it's very important that how to behave. People are watching you. So the great Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, even though he didn't do nothing wrong, he had 18 minuten after his Bible lit the candles. But since a lady got upset, he said, Beli neder. Ich fuhr nicht mehr, ich fuhr nicht. Ich fuhr nicht mehr bekar. Even though I have 18 minuten, the great tzaddik says. You hear? Your question? Yes, Nechama.
What's the earliest one can take in Shabbat?
Plag HaMincha.
What's that?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
Not before. Now it's 6 o'clock. Now it's 6, I think. Now it's 6:18. 6:18. Thank you. Now it's 6:18. You can't. The Torah tidbits.
I understand that for me, but I have a person that takes it in earlier.
No, that doesn't count. If you take it in before Plag HaMincha, it's like taking it in on Wednesday. It doesn't count. What?
I made the comment, and no.
No, it's not right.
But
Right?
no, I don't have to do anything like that. I
6:18 now, but the Torah tidbits has a sliding scale every week, right? But again, the other people in the house are not obligated.
No, they do it early. The person doesn't.
But you can do it, person, husband and wife, the husband or the wife, they can wait till 7:30.
But I'm talking about you nowhere, and I'm just telling you.
But tell her that it's not right. That's a bracha levatala. If she lights candles before 6:18, it's a bracha levatala.
I told her, but she goes according to certain rabbis.
No, show her the Torah tidbits. Show her the Torah tidbits.
What's the latest you can take?
What? Okay. The latest you make Havdalah is Tuesday morning. What? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Right.
From the kotel, when for him it wasn't Shabbos yet because he went according to
Rabbeinu Tam.
And unavailable said he would put him in Cherem if he did that again.
Because Rabbeinu Tam, they take in, but even the Rabbeinu Tam people, that's only going out. Going in, they also take normal time. Rabbeinu Tam people, they take Shabbos out later, but taking it in,
40 minutes out.
right? Okay, 40 minutes. In Jerusalem, you have 40 minutes, right?
That's okay, they can do it.
The minhag Yerushalayim is to light candles 40 minutes before the Zman, right? There's a minhag Hagra. But the rest of the world, it's 18 to 20 minutes early, right? So husband and wife are not bound by each other. Each one can take in Shabbos when they feel, right?
Could the wife take in Shabbat early and
She can take in Shabbos early, and the husband can take in Shabbos later, right? Each one is not bound by the other one, even if he says to her that my taking Shabbos is affecting you too. Einoi klum. What does that mean? Einoi klum.
It's meaningless.
Nothing,
I have
right?
another question. If the person takes in Shabbos before you do, does that make the house Shabbat?
No, we just said no. Nechama, that's why I gave the sources. No. It's Shabbos for you, but only for that person. But the rest of the people in the house, he says clearly, Muta loyma Yisrael. You can even say to a fellow household member who didn't take in Shabbos, do malacha for me, right? So if the wife took an early Shabbos, right, she can tell her husband to put on the cholent, or even the 18 minutes. Even the wife didn't take early Shabbos, Yisrael. The wife, regular Shabbos, the husband has 18 minutes on Jerusalem, close to 40 minutes. She can tell her husband to what? Turn on the cholent, or cook the fish.
So she told me that I
Right?
was out of the house to make a phone call when it wasn't Shabbos.
No, you don't have to do that. It's not true.
She tells me the whole house is...
Well, that's why you have the paper. Some people say, don't confuse me with the facts. My mind is made up. Says it clearly, right? You can tell other people in the house, it's not Shabbos. For you it is, but not for the other person. So no coinky dinky, we gave the shear today, right? So, okay.
I'm not going to argue with Rabbi.
But it's not necessary. It's not Shabbos, right? Right? One explanation. Nechama, no coinky dinky. Aaron didn't change the menorah. He didn't change, right? He lit the menorah exactly, so he gets a pat on the back. He didn't change. What does he get a pat on the back for? Right? We read the parasha on Shabbos. The Torah praises Aaron that he didn't change. Why would he dare change? If God told you to light the menorah this way, would you change? You deserve a pat on the back. There's many explanations. One explanation is he didn't have extra chumras. He didn't change. God told him to do it this way. He didn't try to improve on it. That's good. Right? Just do it the right way. Chumras, I'm Papa Chumras, you know. People are machmir. I'm a big machmir too. I tell my wife machmedus and machmedus and machmedus. I'm a big machmir. People are machmir. Aaron, he didn't change. He wasn't a machmir. Just do what God tells you. You don't have to improve on it. For that, he gets a knip in the beckel. How do you say that? Amen. A knip in the beckel. He gets a pat on the back. Don't be more religious than God. What? What? The radio is chumrah. Separate yichud rooms. Separate yichud rooms, right? Yeah?
And I saw about Reb Moshe.
Reb Moshe.
There was a yeshiva that established the camp in the Catskills.
Right.
It was a yeshiva that many charitable cases came.
The Borscht Belt.
It was the plainest yeshiva
Right.
Camp that you could think of.
Right.
Reb Moshe had a house nearby. Instead of going to shul, he davened with the kids.
With the kids.
He went up and davened with the boys.
Right. That's the
And I
thing.
know that as a fact because my sons went there.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Thank you very much.